Friends, we can all see that many white bloggers have millions of followers. Please support me too, because my followers are still few. Black bloggers also deserve to be famous. My friends, let's unite and lift each other up. Please press subscribe button and like. In the heart of Willow Creek, a quiet suburb known for its pristine streets and affluent homes, a tragedy was about to unfold that would shake the community to its core. David Carter, a promising pre-med student at Georgetown University, was driving to pick up his girlfriend, Serena, when he caught the attention of Officer Gregory Miller. The officer, known for his aggressive tactics and racial profiling, had been patrolling the neighborhood. Looking for any excuse to assert his authority, as David pulled over. He recalled the lessons his father, Colonel Nathaniel Carter, had instilled in him about how to handle encounters with law enforcement. He kept his hands visible on the steering wheel, spoke respectfully, and remained calm. However, Officer Miller approached the vehicle with hostility, demanding identification without explaining the reason for the stop. The tension escalated quickly, and in a moment of panic, David reached for his wallet, causing Miller to draw his weapon and fire 3 shots. The sound of gunfire echoed to the neighborhood, and David slumped forward, blood staining his shirt. Officer Miller, shocked by his own actions, failed to render aid, instead reporting the incident with chilling calm. Meanwhile, Helen Marsh, a retired nurse who witnessed the encounter, recorded the entire event on her phone, capturing the indifference of the officer as David's life slipped away. Within hours, the video went viral, igniting outrage across the nation. But this time, the victim was not just another statistic. He was the son of a decorated Navy SEAL. Colonel Carter, upon receiving the devastating news, activated a contingency plan he had prepared for years, dubbed Protocol Phoenix. He understood that this was not just about seeking justice for his son. It was about dismantling a corrupt system that had allowed such tragedies to occur repeatedly. Colonel Carter gathered a team of trusted allies, each with military backgrounds and expertise in various fields. They transformed the suburban home into a command center, equipped with maps, laptops, and encrypted communication systems. The mission was clear: to expose Officer Miller and the systemic corruption within the police department while ensuring that David's story would not be forgotten as the investigation unfolded. Colonel Carter's team uncovered a disturbing pattern of racial profiling and excessive force complaints against Officer Miller, all buried by the department. They meticulously documented every piece of evidence, preparing for a legal battle that will hold the officer accountable. Meanwhile, the public outcry grew louder, with protests demanding justice for David. Officer Miller, on the other hand, found himself increasingly isolated. His colleagues distanced themselves, and the union support began to wane as the evidence against him mounted. The mayor, sensing the political fallout, announced an independent review of the incident, further tightening the noose around Miller's neck as the grand jury convened. Colonel Carter's team worked tirelessly to ensure that every detail was presented accurately. They coordinated with civil rights attorney Angela Price, who was determined to pursue both criminal and civil charges against Miller. The trial became a national spectacle, with media coverage highlighting the stark contrast between David's promising future and Miller's tarnished reputation. On the day of the verdict, the courtroom was packed with supporters of both families. The jury deliberated for hours before finally returning with a decision. Officer Gregory Miller was found guilty of first-degree murder. The news sent shockwaves through the community. But for Colonel Carter, it was just the beginning of a long journey toward reformed, and the months that followed. Colonel Carter established the David Carter Foundation for Police Accountability and Reform. The foundation aimed to address systemic issues within law enforcement, focusing on training programs that emphasized de-escalation and bias recognition. He believed that true change could only come from within the system, and he was determined to create a legacy for his son that would prevent future tragedies as the foundation gained traction. Colonel Carter reached out to families of other victims of police violence, offering support and resources. He understood that healing could only occur through collective action and solidarity. The Foundation's initiatives began to show results, with communities reporting decreased tensions between residents and law enforcement, in a surprising turn of events. Colonel Carter also extended a hand to Officer Miller's family, recognizing that they too were victims of a broken system. He offered scholarships for Miller's daughter Emma, and created mentorship programs that connected youth from both families. This act of compassion shocked many, but Colonel Carter believed that building bridges was essential for healing. As the anniversary of David's death approached, Colonel Carter visited his son's grave, laying flowers and reflecting on the journey they had taken together. He knew that the fight for justice was far from over, but he felt a sense of purpose in his mission. The Phoenix Protocol had not only sought accountability for his son, but it also sparked a movement for change that would resonate for generations to come. But just as the foundation began to gain momentum, a new threat emerged. Officer Miller, now facing the consequences of his actions, had begun to rally support from extremist groups online. He painted himself as a martyr, a victim of political correctness, and his followers began to mobilize, threatening to disrupt the peaceful progress Colonel Carter had worked so hard to achieve. As tensions escalated, Colonel Carter found himself at a crossroads. He had to decide whether to confront this new wave of hostility head-on or to continue focusing on the long-term goals of reform and healing. The stakes were higher than ever, and the community was watching closely. In a pivotal moment, Colonel Carter called an emergency meeting with his team. They gathered in the command center, the atmosphere thick with urgency. "We need to address the situation before it spirals out of control," he said, his voice steady but filled with determination. "We cannot let fear dictate our actions. We must stand firm in our commitment to justice and accountability." As they strategized, Colonel Carter's mind raced with possibilities. He knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he also understood that the legacy of his son depended on their ability to navigate this storm. The Phoenix Protocol was about to be tested in ways he had never anticipated. Just as they were finalizing their plans, a notification pinged on Colonel Carter's phone. It was a message from Angela Price, alerting him to a rally being organized by Miller supporters, set to take place in Willow Creek. The news sent a chill down his spine. This was the moment they had feared, and it was time to act. "Prepare for a counter-rally," Colonel Carter commanded, his voice resolute. "We will not be silenced. We will show the community that justice is not just a word. It is a commitment we are willing to fight for." As the team sprang into action, Colonel Carter felt a surge of adrenaline. This was not just about his son anymore. It was about standing up against a system that had failed too many. The Phoenix Protocol was evolving, and the battle for justice was about to reach its most critical juncture. Do you want to know the fate of the heroes? Please post part 2. Subscribe to the channel and continue watching. Your opinion and support are important to me. Leave it in the comments. Thank you.